We are here with Paul Hanna, the executive producer, director, and writer of the new motion picture Consinsual. Paul, why don't you just start by giving us a little bit of your background and just how you got started in this business.
I started really in theater, been directing on some front for almost 20 years now. Just had always a foot in the arts. I'm sure people will probably start digging through and pulling up my old Ebony Boys performances all around Los Angeles. Little singing group I had out in high school, but just always had a foot in the arts and always had an interest there, a passion for it. So started in theater and then went into music and started doing musicals and things of that nature. And then last year, here in LA, we did our first production in Los Angeles, a play called Redemption of a Dog, and it was just a phenomenal success. From there, we did the Marriage Chronicles, again, a great success, and it just felt right. It felt like the right time to get into film. It's something I've always wanted to do, and it was just the right time.
Great. And what would you say, I mean, you obviously are multi-talented, multi-skilled as far as writing, directing, producing. Musically, you do a number of different things. What would you say is your greatest strength as an artist?
Number one, every gift comes from God. So for me, I believe my greatest gift is just the ability to allow that creativity to flow from a spiritual place. So whether that's writing or music or songwriting or managing and directing, I feel like it's all gifts. So I'd say my primary gift is writing in different capacities.
Okay. Well, along those lines, let's talk about Consinsual. What inspired you to write this script and produce this film?
It's interesting. It was actually going to be a short. I was writing a movie that I'm going to do a little later in the year called Power, and I felt like it was just on such a grand scale. I needed to get my feet wet with something smaller. So I started this as a short film, and the concept just became so grand that it turned into something much bigger than it initially was going to be. And we just thought the idea was so unique that we didn't want to do it as a short. And we thought that the story was so strong it deserved its own platform as a feature. And so we just started writing and started casting, and it just kind of all came together.
Mm-hmm. And tell me, what have been some of the main challenges that you have faced? Obviously, this is your first feature film, and you dove straight into it. So just tell me about what that experience has been like, and what some of the challenges you've faced, and how you've overcome those challenges.
Honestly, for any independent filmmaker, the challenge is always money and time. There's never enough of either. So it really is just trying to balance the best of each. And I think we've done a great job. I think people are going to feel that this movie is broad and that it's deep. It's not going to feel small. So I think that's those accolades go to the producers, the production design team, the cinematographer, director of photography. I think we all collaboratively made something that was grand out of a very small pool of money that I was able to bring to the table. And it's interesting because when you talk about small money, in the movie business, it brings a different term. Anything less than a few $100,000 is very small. But we still feel like we gave our all on this feature, and I think people are going to love it. I think you're going to be very surprised. I think people are really going to take it as a model as what you can do with just a little bit of money.
Great. Now, you've obviously written and directed and produced a number of theater productions. Talk to me a little bit about how the experience compares to what you've done in theater being that now you are, directing and producing and leading both a cast and crew of a film production. How has that compared? How does that contrast to what you've experienced when you've produced theater productions?
It's really interesting. I think first and foremost, any story is about the characters. So writing for theater and writing for the screen, I think is very similar in terms of having a very strong character that people can understand the character, they relate to it, they either hate it or love it. So I just always want to have a strong foothold in character development and bringing characters that live and breathe and you feel them on screen. So it's similar to theater in that respect. Film is just broader, it's more people to manage, more things to be concerned about. It's a different medium. But in terms of storytelling and character building, I find it very, very similar. The old adage is that, with film, you tell it with the camera and not with dialogue. So, I buy into that a little bit, but I still think that you have to tell a story that's not only visually compelling, but also that reaches the core people through the storytelling itself.
Okay. Now, you've almost completed the production phase for Consinsual and are about to move into the post-production phase. So moving forward, what is your vision for Consinsual? Where do you see this film a year from now, 2 years from now?
I really feel like it's going to be big. I feel like it's going to do something that people aren't expecting. I don't think they'll see it coming. It's almost impossible to have a primarily African-American cast and get major distribution. I feel like that's coming down the line. I feel like we're going to get some very brilliant remarks from festivals. I feel like these actors that are giving their all in this film are going to get noticed in a big way. I fully expect that we have grand success on the way, and it's just it's all based upon how hard every single member of the cast and crew worked on the film. It is 100% their success story. The actors, some of these actors worked all day and all night. Some of them brought such a strong emotional element to the film. Some of them helped and carried other things. The producers, we did everything from washing walls to running back and forth to the store 1,000 times. It's just, it takes a group effort. It took every single person that lent a hand to make this film successful. So really it goes to them.
Great. And you mentioned a little bit about the upcoming film you're going to produce, Power. Tell us what's next for Paul Hanna and One Truth Media.
Power is interesting. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Can't quite let the cat out the bag yet, but I will say that it's a supernatural thriller. And again, something different than what you normally see on the screen, and really something you don't primarily see African American leads in. And I think it's important. I think that story is about story and characters, but I think it's a good thing to open doors where the doors may not currently be open. And outside of that, it's something that I think that we need to see in this day and time. So hopefully we'll get to it soon. But right now I'm very excited about Consensual, and I'm looking forward to getting into post-production and moving that along quite rapidly.
Well, you are a man of many talents. You're doing big things, and there are even bigger things to come. Paul Hanna, thank you very much.
Thanks.